What is good, NIO family? It's Rey-Jay back with another video, and in this one, we're going to be talking about the one and only NIO stock and why I believe it's very probable that NIO is going to have a slight pullback before this thing runs very hard to the upside and we see some very bullish price action very soon. And before I talk about why I'm actually quite bullish for NIO for the next upcoming weeks and what I think the share price is going to do, I do have to mention a couple of things real quick. The first thing is I'm not a financial planner, so please don't take this as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please smash the like button if you want to see more videos like this. It not only benefits me, but the entire NIO community as a whole. And the last things, if you guys can, please check out the Webull link down below and in the description. If you sign up for Webull with the link down below and deposit any amount of money into the account, you're guaranteed 5 free stocks, each worth up to $2,000. And you can always sell those 5 free stocks for cash and buy some NIO shares for free. This is a limited time offer. It ends in 2 weeks. Check it out before they run out. With that out of the way, let's get on with the video. So looking at NIO, we had a very interesting day. We gapped to the upside and we made a pretty decent move. So I want to talk about how I see this thing moving now based off of that. So one of the things that's interesting is look at this right here. Zooming in, you can see there's this very notorious gap right here. NIO has this big gap that's right here. If you look at the 2-hour candles, you can see the exact same thing. A bunch of different time frames show you the exact same gap right over here. And I do think that this is something that we have to be talking about because this could be an indicator that we may see some bearish price action, a slight dip one last time before this thing starts to rip to the upside, in my opinion. I mean, if you look at a bunch of different stocks, like if you look at Tesla, same thing. There's this nice gap in Tesla. Look at the IWM. There's this big gap right here again. Okay, if you look at the SPY, same exact thing, another big gap. See, so if you don't know what a gap is, it just means that the two candles aren't connected from left to right. They're not connected. There's this big group of space. It means that there wasn't volume in between them. There wasn't action in between the way it moved. We just had a very big opening. And as a result, the market held up pretty darn well. So we can't confirm or like know for sure if we're just going to end up filling the gap and then running, or if we're going to come down in the future. But for what I think is going to happen is I think the market's in a state where we're going to see a slight reversal very soon. Now, one of the things you'll notice is that NIO has a gap at $14.80. That there are two main gaps. There's one here at $14.80, another one down here. So the question is, which one is going to get filled first? In my opinion, I think because of the fact that the SPY also has one to the downside, I think it's very probable that we fill this gap down first before we bounce to the upside. And there are many indicators that suggest that we're not just going to crash after we fill this gap. Instead, we're going to see a bounce, and I think the market alongside NIO is going to be bullish. You might think I'm crazy, but it's going to make a lot of sense as to why I think that. First off, let's look at the SPY. What is the SPY showing us? Well, if we go back in time, you could see right here the SPY was like dropping and dropping and dropping. It was just getting rug pulled really hard. Then when we zoom into the more recent time frames, you can see we appeared to find our bottom at 385. That might have been the bottom and most likely was, in my opinion. And we could be at the point where, excuse me, we dropped really hard for a very long time. We found our bottom and we're ready to see a nice bounce. So which is why we're seeing RSI improve. Also, the MACD flips to the 9-day moving average showing some green histograms. So that could be our big bounce point. And what often happens when we see bounces like this, stocks drop down one last time before continuing to see some bullish momentum. So I wouldn't be surprised if the SPY drops maybe, could be like an $8 to $10 drop one last time before we start to run up. It's very possible it happens next week, so we could have a few red days before we start to push up, or we might just keep pushing up and we don't see the gap fill until later on. That's also a possibility. For NIO, in the case of NIO, where do I see this thing going? Okay, I'm not going to give a specific price prediction today, but I want to note the fact that many sources are suggesting that the lockdowns in China may come to a halt around, I believe, the 20th of May. So as we approach that date, it might be announced soon that the lockdowns are kind of slowing down. The reason why these lockdowns are bad is when you slow down an economy of that size, there's still the same demand for a lot of these products, a lot of these commodities, but the supply chain is just being suppressed to some large degree. And it's not necessarily, I'm not going to blame anyone for it. It's just because this is the action that the government decided to take amidst the increase in cases. So If that's what they're going to do, then so be it. But the real question is, how do we recover from this? And as a result, the market is starting to see that the drop is already priced in. And I do think that right now there aren't too many things that are going to cause the market to just crash in a straight line. I think we're in a point where we could see some temporary relief, and we're starting to see a lot of green. If you're looking at Bitcoin and PayPal, BBIG, I mean, green is just all over the place right now, and it does look like the market wants to start rebounding. So I think what's going to happen is this. Look at the way NIO ran on the daily. Check this out. This is very interesting. So in my previous videos, I drew out support and resistance levels. Look at this. We ran up yesterday, got rejected at 375, dropped down, support at $12.86 held us up, traded sideways, then we pushed up. Okay, we had this big gap, this big space between these two support or resistance levels I drew out. And check this out. We bounced off 1356, and we stayed in this range for almost the entire day, just trading sideways. This was the consolidation I was showing you that bounced between 1395 to 1431. And we ended up closing at 1441, which is, we pushed up to 1441 and closed at 1431, up 9.24% for the day, in the green, doing a lot better. But what I think is going to play out is this. I think we're going to get a bit of a drop, maybe Monday during the opening. We might slowly drop on Monday. Maybe Tuesday we see a slight red day. Then all of a sudden we start pushing. The market turns very bullish. And I wouldn't be surprised if NIO starts going to that $15 range very, very soon. And after that, we could keep pushing from there. But we have to look at some gaps to have a good understanding of where this thing's going to push to. So let's bring up the 2-hour chart. From right here, you could see that there's a gap at that $17 range, almost $18. I think NIO is going to head towards there in the next few weeks. I'm not saying we're going to go to all-time highs, but I do think that NIO is going to head towards that $17 to $20 range. Things are definitely improving. But other than that, from a technical perspective, we could look at the RSI and the MACD for NIO. Look at this right here. You can see the RSI dropped really hard, and now it's starting to pick up. The MACD flips with the 9-day moving average, showing a trend reversal signal. Once again, looking a lot better. And I can also bring up the daily candles and then bring up the RSI. Not the RSI. Hold on. Super trend. That's what I was trying to look up. And right now, we could see NIO is at a point where we're dropping, right? We've been dropping. We got a sell signal. What's happening on the 4-hour is we're starting to push up. And this line right here, see this red line? This is where our super trend is. If we push up, that's a bullish indicator. If we push above this line, above 1482, as of right now, maybe it's going to be closer to 15 depending on where we open at. It's going to be a very bullish indicator. So a lot of things are pointing towards some potential good movement. Now, we did end up pushing up with low volume, which in my opinion could be a signal that things are starting to change and the dynamic of the market is shifting. I do think we're going to have a temporary relief bounce for the next few weeks. That doesn't mean downside is over, but we do have these temporary pockets of time where we do see some reversal. So that's what I have for this video. Things are looking better for NIO. I think we may drop, fill that gap, and get a nice bounce and start pushing to the $17 range very soon. With that out of the way, thank you for listening. Be on the lookout for my other video where I give you my price prediction. With that out of the way, thank you. Enjoy your weekend, and I'll see you guys in the next one. NIO to the moon, and peace out.